Okay, so maybe just share like your name, like where you from, what do you do, like your psychedelic experience, all around that, like maybe your psychedelic path when you started to take psychedelics, how deep, how many years, all that stuff.
All right.
And then we get here how you got to us and your experience with us.
All right.
Is good?
Yeah, we'll go for it, and feel free to ask questions along the way if I get off track and things. But yeah, I'm Dan. Live in Florida. I started my psychedelic experiences around the age of 15, mainly through psilocybin, and it was the first thing that kind of opened up my mind to consciousness in general. Growing up in kind of a small town, Minnesota, there wasn't much in the form of healing arts or alternative energy work, and mushrooms were kind of my first gateway into that experience, and used to spend a lot of time in nature with that, usually with a close friend or two, and then I got more and more experience and started doing more and more solo things in nature to kind of ground and connect, and it really opened up my whole universe to different ways of being, and inspired me to travel and heal, not only myself, but to learn all these different healing modules around the world. And started playing with some LSD a little bit, and I had my time with it, but I didn't really stick to LSD because I felt like, unlike psilocybin or plant medicine, I feel LSD doesn't have a consciousness.
Synthetic.
Yeah, there's not a consciousness there.
Plastic consciousness.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you get your visuals, you can connect a little bit, but it's lacking.
It's cold.
It's lacking.
I didn't like it though.
Yeah.
It was cold. Too cold for me.
So I mainly stuck to mushrooms and got to traveling and opening up, and I went all around the world. By the time I got to 30, I'd been to 50-some countries, and all the states and provinces in North America. In China, I was studying ceramic art, but as well as Chinese medicine and herbology and acupuncture and acupressure. Spent a lot of time in Central America. It's a place I returned frequently, especially Guatemala and Honduras, and Lago de Atitlan is a really magical place, and San Marcos is an epicenter for the healing arts, and did water rebirthing and cranial sacral therapy and breath work there, and played around with some more psilocybin as well. And in India, became an Ayurvedic practitioner over there, so it's another form of kind of healing arts. And in Bali, after we had our first kid, my wife didn't menstruate for 2.5 years, mainly because of breastfeeding, but we wanted to have our kids kind of close together. And so we were in Bali, and we got connected to this lady who volunteered at a fertility clinic doing acupuncture. And so we did a week of acupuncture, and her partner did Chinese medicine, and I was a little familiar with that. And she drank, we'd make these teas, we had a full pot of leaves and bark and brew, and boil it down to about a shot. And she'd take a shot of that once a day for a week. We conceived that week. So she never ovulated for 2.5 years. And then a week of doing Chinese medicine and acupuncture, we conceived our second child. So that's just part of the magic that alternative healing and psychedelics and kind of the blend of the consciousness of both of those have brought to our lives. Like literally the birth of a child, which was one of the best miracles in the world. And as family went on, it got more and more difficult to kind of find space for me to explore with my own psilocybin practices. And that's when I started to look into ceremonies and plant medicine and working more with experienced shamans that can hold space and guide me better in that space. And started in Peru, up in Iquitos, really remote areas. It took me 3 boat rides, walking through 3 villages to get to an outpost where it was a rickety hut in the middle of nowhere, no electricity. Like, rain would come through the roofs at night. We had fish nets in the river, and we'd eat from the jungle basically for a week and do ayahuasca.
Did you fish?
The fish would be in
the
fish nets, like, so it wasn't like line or stick, but they'd be in the fish nets when we woke up. And that's also where I got introduced to Huachuma or San Pedro. There'd always be, in 8 days, you'd do 4 ayahuasca ceremonies and then 1 San Pedro.
Yeah, they probably give you powder there.
No, they actually brewed their own cactus. And that was my introduction to San Pedro. Before that, I'd done peyote as well, but recreationally, I'd say it was some friends that would have it and would take it and see what happened, but we had nobody holding space for us. So it was my first kind of experience with mescaline-based cactus, and it was always a really nice treat after a week of ayahuasca. I always think ayahuasca is kind of like dragging yourself through the mud. Some really dark, deep-seated stuff can come up, and it's good work, but it can be really difficult. And Huachuma San Pedro was always such a pleasant reward at the end of like 4 of those ceremonies, too. Especially doing it in the day, more masculine, more heavenly, celestial. So that's when I first got introduced to that. And I think it was in 2019 I'd reached out to you originally because I was craving a week or 2 experience of just Huachuma. And I can't remember what transpired. I think that's when I also got a degree and worked in healthcare as an emergency room nurse. Got my degree in 2012, and I stepped away from that full time in 2017 and started doing crisis assignments from 2017 to 2019. And crisis assignments were nice because I could work the equivalent of 3 months and make a year's salary. And that would allow me to explore travel and then like other ways. I was redefining my relationship with finance and money as well, because as my family grew, there became 4 other people, myself, so a total of 5 people dependent on myself, and I did not like being a spoke in the wheel of a healthcare system designed to keep people sick. And I thought, I feel still now, very powerfully, that plant medicine and meditation and sound healing are some things that I'm very passionate about, that are true forms of healing. And I think I got called to go to New York in March of 2020, which kind of, for when COVID hit, I ended up in a management role at Coney Island Hospital as an experienced crisis nurse, and I think that's what derailed us getting together.
And then the COVID hit.
Yeah, and then COVID hit. And recently I've been getting plant medicine, psychedelic-like experiences through my meditation work. And for the last 3 months I've been getting really strong images of this portal, ancient portal carved out of a rock. I didn't know where this was or how to connect the dots. And then I was watching something on Gaia about ancient civilizations or something like that. And I realized that this portal was at Lake Titicaca. Titicaca.
Yeah, but we have one here, right here.
Here as well?
In Secret Valley. We go there sometimes.
Nice. And so that's what brought me here this time, and it was all spare the moment with 3 kids and family and work obligations. It's hard to dip out, and it was Sunday night, and it was midnight, and me and the wife were connecting, and just realized that I would not be missed that much for this next 7 to 9 day period. So booked a plane and jumped on a plane Monday at 7 a.m., made it to Lima by 10 p.m. and stayed in a hotel in Lima and jumped on a plane to Cusco Tuesday morning and rented a car, and I was heading to PSAC, and that's all I knew. And I was just trying to open my heart on this journey and keep it open and let the universe be my guide. And I met some great medicine workers and great family and PSAC that were showing me around and introduced me to some ceremonies. And it was really wild, and I don't know if it was a combination of altitude sickness and or coming here, but I was really fatigued around 6 o'clock, and I was trying to find a hotel room, and everything had worked out really smoothly until then. And then the 3 different hotels, like reservations got canceled, or like, they weren't there to open the door. It was just, things got super complicated. And eventually the place worked out, and I laid down. It was probably 8 o'clock. I laid in bed, and I couldn't sleep. And I don't deal with insomnia. Usually I can do a little meditation, a little breath work, and drop right to sleep. And then my body started to flare up. I used to play collegiate and semi-pro hockey, and all these old injuries are just raging in pain like I've never felt before in my life. And it kept me up till about 12:30 at night, and that's when I remembered that I had reached out to you in 2019 and sent you an email. It was probably around 12:30, 1 o'clock at night.
I remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
Emails from 4 years ago.
Yeah, I found this old email thread and replied to it. And then when I woke up at 8:15, you had responded that, yeah, we're serving medicine today at 10 o'clock. You're welcome to come if you can make it, let me know. And I typed in the address. I was like, all right, 30-minute drive. I got to take a shower, pack my bag. My car's parked 15 minutes away. I can make it by 10. Let's do this. And just showed up and jumped right in.
Right at 10 o'clock when we were just about to start.
Yeah, you were standing out there, 10 o'clock, first time anybody's ever showed up, right when we start serving medicine. So
I usually don't do this.
There was lots of wild synchronicities that brought me back to this place. And I will say, out of all my experiences with pretty much every form of plant medicine, I haven't done any toads as far as bufo and cambo, but I've tried just about every plant medicine I know of. I was able to go deeper and do work that I've been wanting to do for 20 years, and just 2 ceremonies with your medicine. And
it's done.
It was incredible. Really, it's hard to describe what can happen in 3 days, more or less, on something I've been working on for 20 years.
It's okay, do your thing. Yeah, it's okay, do that. So how was the journey itself?
Yes, should we talk about both ceremonies?
Yeah,
or?
first, and then second.
The first ceremony was a 3/4 cup, and it was really beautiful. It was really easy to settle into. I had a really magical day. I felt really comfortable in the space. And again, it was a strange scenario because I had no idea how things were going to unfold. I didn't know if we'd be sitting in a maloka the whole time. I didn't know if we'd be hanging out in a garden the whole time. And all of a sudden, I drink some medicine and I jump in the back of a truck and we're driving up to the mountains. And we start hiking up this trail. And then Sergey's like, yeah, you gotta cross the river and you're over there with the 2 girls. Just go find a spot and make sure you come back across the river at 3:30. And I was like, okay. I really actually enjoyed kind of that, I don't know, I guess that individual time, but like still being attached to a group, but in my own space.
Exactly, that's the point.
I got to be in nature with myself and open up my heart and start to do the work. And I was specifically coming this trip. The last year and a half, I've been doing what most people would call really nonsensical things. I've been investing all of my money into personal growth. And all these important pieces are coming into play. And it's accelerating for it feels like the final phase before the picture's complete and everything's going. And I really need to clean myself. My addictions had accelerated for some reason. I had always said openly to myself and others I had a tobacco addiction. And it wasn't until the second ceremony yesterday, we'll talk more about it, that I'm also an addict to alcohol. And I never really said that before to myself or others. Because I could turn it off for a month or a week or a couple days. But it's like when I started, it was always at least 2 to 3 drinks every day. That's an addict.
Yeah, of course.
Quality and characteristics and patterns.
Yeah.
And I knew for this next phase, for what I've been building and working on for the last year and a half, it was like I needed to get rid of this, or all this other stuff wasn't going to materialize. And I was going to be an addict for the rest of my life, more or less.
Yeah.
I don't know. The first ceremony, it was just kind of opening up to the medicine and getting ready for the work and kind of gauging how your medicine was and how I interacted with it too. And you needed to see that for me as well, before we could go any deeper.
Yeah. Well, I took your description of your psychedelic experience, for the base, but still need to see the medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Because my medicine is super strong, so I have to make sure that you can handle it.
And so I remember we talked a little bit during the first ceremony, and talked a little bit after, and I had asked to do a full cup for the ceremony yesterday, the second ceremony I had. And you kind of looked at me and like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's go." And then even before the second ceremony started, I was the last one to get served. And you look at me and you're like, "Full power?" And you still kind of had this inquisitive look in your eye, like, "Are you sure?"
Yeah. There's
And
a big difference between 3/4 and the full cup.
I had no idea. I thought it would be like, just
A little more.
just a little bump up, And it was a whole nother universe. And I got back across the river, and I don't know, I'm from Florida. I've spent time in the mountains, but it's been a long time. And Florida is like 0 elevation, warm and sunny. We're driving up the mountains. Thunder's crackling up in the canyon. Clouds are dark everywhere. The whole ride, I was staring at the clouds, trying to use my powers and connections, praying to Father Huachuma, it's like, part the skies for this Florida boy. The whole way. And
Thinking, why did I ask for more?
well, it hadn't really kicked in yet, right? So I didn't really know what I was getting into. I just knew that I'd kind of be cold because I packed last minute too. I don't have any of my wool socks. I was lucky I grabbed my wool hat, but I don't have my typical like warm gear I used to have when I lived in the mountains and trekked and all that. I've been a Florida boy now for a while, and anyways, I get settled in over there and I just find this spot that's kind of under some trees because I was trying to think, all right, like what can I do to stay as dry as possible because it's going to rain a little bit. But it was on a path, and so it was a really hard spot. And I kind of settled in there, and I knew yesterday was the day to confront this tobacco addiction and get rid of it. And it was wild. The morning before we left, even I was puffing a pacho, jungle tobacco, just constantly, drinking some tea in the morning, and even when I got settled in across the river, just like a crack addict, just huffing it. And when I started to feel the medicine, it's like, just stop doing this. Like, just breathe life instead of this toxic shit into your lungs. You have to choose to live life or choose to be a subject to something else that controls your decisions, your actions, your times, your thoughts, your energy. It's very contradictory to everything I've ever done in my whole life. I've always been very independent, but I've always had these addictions that they've been passed on genetically, and I've done a lot of family work, but I was never able to completely shake these addictions. Because well, that's why I keep coming back to plant medicine for it, because my very first week-long ceremony of the Niquitos, I kicked it for 2 years. Then I went back there for a ceremony 2 years later, and I was like, oh, mapacho, ceremonies. I can smoke mapacho in ceremonies and just leave it there and go back and live without it.
Triggered your addiction to
It triggered it right back, and the moment I got off the plane, I was at the gas station buying a pack of American Spirits, the type of smoke I used to like to smoke, thinking that organic was better for you. Just silly shit. And then in June, I was doing another ayahuasca ceremony in Costa Rica, and I quit there on the second ceremony. And after the fourth ceremony, I had opened up my heart and had amazing experiences about my potential to help heal others. And I had moved more energy than I'd ever had before in my life at that point in time. And I felt like after the ceremony, I could celebrate that victory with a single mapacho around the sacred fire. And the next day, driving to the airport, or actually not even to the airport.
buying American Spirits.
No, my wife had a mapacho from ceremony she was saving to like say goodbye to the place, and I fucking made her give it to me. I was so persistent. And then I was driving to the airport. I bought a cigar on the way to the airport on the side of the road, and then again, as soon as I got off the plane in America, I went and bought my American Spirits, and I was a full-on smoker again. The 2 weeks leading up to this trip, it had just really accelerated from like a pack a day to almost a pack and a half, 2 packs a day. So I'm across the river, and I'm just processing all that, and I decided to leave my little camp I'd made under the trees and find this soft, cushy place in the grass. And I just threw my arms wide open, put my legs out, and just surrendered to the universe. And I was just working on some breathing techniques I had, opening up my heart. And I was just breathing love into my heart. And maybe after 30 minutes or so, it felt like a line came down my chest, and something had cracked it wide open. Inside my heart, there was this serpent, almost like the size of an anaconda, coiled around my heart. I couldn't even see the difference between the head and the tail. Was coiled so heavy around my heart. And so I started breathing more love into my heart, and this black serpent, he'd start to come out a little bit, and then he'd come back in. He'd get coiled back in there. I went through this process for probably about an hour and a half of trying to get this serpent finally out of my heart. It feels like that thing had been there my whole existence, and it had just gotten tighter and tighter and tighter as time had gone by. But my normal breathing love techniques, I couldn't get it all the way out. It'd get out a little bit, like a quarter of the way, then halfway, and then snap back in. And I didn't even know, this wasn't done by intention, but I'd manifested this rainbow serpent to go in after this black serpent. And then there's kind of this war of serpents. Like you see 2 dogs or 2 cats going at it. And I just kept trying to feed love into that space, and feed love into that space. And maybe it was like 30 minutes or an hour. This battle between serpents was going on, and they're going out, snapping and pulling in. And finally, there was just a massive release. This black serpent shot out of my chest. Like, I felt it just shoot straight up into the cosmos. And I let some gentle tears out, came out of the corners of my eyes. I felt so much relief and joy and freedom. And then I realized that I wasn't only doing that work for my own addictions, but we live in a very addictive culture. And it's easy just to say substance abuse is an addiction. But people are addicted to social media, people are addicted to the normal media, people are addicted to their jobs, people are addicted to sex, people are addicted to
fear.
Working out, addicted to fear.
That's probably the biggest one.
And I came to the realization that, this has been a 30-year addiction that I've been working to get rid of, but the process of getting rid of it wasn't only liberating my own addictions, but it was helping others with theirs. And there's going to be more work to be done in that regards of helping other people get rid of and work through their addictions by sharing my story and processes and techniques.
That's why I write my books. Sharing all my experiences to inspire people to make changes in their life.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole point of sharing. So, just inspire people from doing the work on themselves, do the work to better themselves, to heal themselves. So let's talk about your psilocybin was your major plant medicine before, right? Your tool, also for that many years, from 15 to.
Well, I mean, I've always had mushrooms on me.
So, what was your highest dose in gram that you took having the experience?
When I was a kid, I used to have kid being somewhere between ages of 16 and 25. If I found a good batch of mushrooms, I'd buy a pound of it and have it for a while. And generally, the max I would take would be 3 to 4 grams a month.
Yeah.
And there was one strange time in my life. The mushrooms were amazing mushrooms. I had a big batch of them. I was with a group of friends, and we all ate 2-3 grams of mushrooms, which is enough to have an amazing experience. And me and one other buddy, everyone else, there was I think maybe 9 of us in total, 7 other people, they're just opening up and starting to have the time of their lives. Me and my other buddy were getting nothing. And so we ate another 3-4 grams and let another 40 minutes pass. And still, absolutely nothing. And everyone else off their initial 2.5-3 grams having the time of their lives. And we ate another 7 grams each. It was a total of 14 grams. It was a really strange time because nothing happened to us. It's just the two of us.
But you ate them before from this batch?
The same batch, yeah. And I ate them a week later, and they were the same.
Maybe you ate them too close to each other, one day close to.
Yeah, because your tolerance does build really fast on psilocybin.
Yeah, you need to wait a week.
Yeah, and I don't think that was it either because it'd been at least a week. I think it was because me and my buddy had such an expectation of getting high. We were kind of giddy little crackheads. We're so excited, just let's get so high.
Yeah, just taking recreation.
Yeah.
There was no intention, there was no purpose.
No intention, no purpose. And I think the other people were, more just neutral about it, not so.
Even neutral is not the right.
Yeah, but easier to work with neutral than over eager, over pursuing. So that doesn't really count. But when I started doing plant medicine and getting more experienced, and I've only ever done plant medicine out of America. I've never done ceremonies in America. I've just heard too many horror stories of fly-by-night shamans that come down to Central or South America and have an amazing experience and feel like they can go back and serve. And
that's just ridiculous.
Disastrous,
that's ridiculous.
People leaving at the middle of the night and traumatized and no support.
That's just so, that makes me angry, actually.
It's really irresponsible.
It's just people come here to spend 2 weeks, drinking peace and drinking ayahuasca, and then they think they're not ayahuasca. It's man, you have no idea what you're doing.
I got a sense that there was a little taste of that in PSAC.
Oh, yeah.
Of fly-by-night shamans.
Yeah. PSAC it's like that.
Mm.
Yeah.
And so when I wanted to go deep with myself, I was very experienced with psilocybin. So I would take 5 to 7 grams of mushrooms and put blinders on and headphones on.
Kind of McKenna style.
And sit in my bed and go inwards the whole time. So that's the most amount of psilocybin I take at one time.
Yeah, it's plenty, 7 grams.
Oh yeah.
How would you compare this experience with what you have here with us?
The psilocybin, like the 7 grams?
Yeah.
I don't, in general, mushrooms are kind of like recreational in a sense. Like you can get there, you can play around, but it's kind of like safe and bubbly. You're not really going to go to dark spaces. You're not going to open up or find maybe closet doors you didn't even know existed where you've held traumas and pain that maybe were yours from times in your life you don't remember, or generational things. You know, the things that plant medicine can really bring to the surface that I think is monumental in healing and are the things that you're not even aware of what's traumatized you. And you don't get that with mushrooms. At least I never did. You can find spaces and open up, but I think it's kind of surface level to how far you can go with other plant medicines as far as Yahe and Aya and Huachuma and San Pedro.
Yeah. So how would you explain the difference between the two to people who don't know anything about that?
I think in general, it always depends on the practitioner you're working with. You can be with some really strong medicine and have a really bad practitioner and have a very traumatic experience. You can be with weaker medicine and have a fantastic practitioner and have a great experience, you know. But it includes really good pre-care and post-care to help you navigate that space before you're in it. And then when you're in it, the great practitioner knows how to hold it for you so it doesn't become overwhelming or unbearing or fearful. But Huachuma specifically resonates with me, being a more masculine energy. A lot of my addictions were not really passed down from both sides, but primarily the men on both sides of my family, as far as my father and then grandfathers on both sides. And they were both addicts. I like the light. I like the skies compared to Aya or Yahe, Iboga, which is traditionally done at night. I like the air creatures over, and the forest creatures kind of over the jungle creatures and the snakes, especially after yesterday. I've never been, like, I don't know, afraid of serpents or attracted to serpents, but just kind of been like, I don't want to play around with that.
Was it energy better to keep it away?
Yeah.
And it's hard to relax in the jungle, that's for sure. You don't just lay down
Yeah.
and look in the sky for like 12 hours. You get eaten there by someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually it's in the Maloka, at least, so you're kind of guarded a little bit. But
You can't do Huachuma inside. This is the wrong way to do
that's what I'm saying, is like Huachuma's outside,
it's
during the day.
It's a spirit, this is openness, this is sky, this is vastness, this is mountains, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, with my medicine, you're kidding. You cannot spend a minute indoor when it's already there.
Oh yeah.
You will feel smashed by the walls, you will run away, you will jump through the window just to get away from the closeness. You know, that's why we do the work we do, only opening and closing in Maloka. The rest is just nature medicine, pure vastness. That's the space of the Huachuma, you know. That's where you feel safe. You feel held with mountains, you know. So that's the difference.
Well, it's nice to see like the mountains and the sky come to life too under Huachuma, especially the walk we had after the first ceremony, winding through the mountains. You know, I'm seeing condors and ancient women and men. They're holding the space in the mountain, and they're always there, but you're just you're not tuned into that frequency.
Exactly.
And to be able to see that.
Same with God.
Yeah.
Same exactly right. Same thing. God is everywhere, right now, here. Are you aware? Are you tuned in? That's the question. It's not like we're reaching out to divine. It's just waking up to it.
Yeah.
It's not reaching out. It's not like there. It's not there. It's actually within. You know, but we're waking up to it. You know, that's the real process. You know, of awakening.
The medicine helps you get there vibrationally and remember that path.
Yeah,
so you can start to do it without it.
It's there. It's just the more, you know, I call it emotional memory. What we're creating the ceremonies, that's what we do. It's emotional memory. It's a memory. It's not a memory of the place or how many trees there or how the mountain look. It's not really that. It's the memory of your experience of being in the moment, being awake, being connected. And the more you create that, the easier it is to recall it later. So the more time you spend in the medicine, you create it again.
You're building like a pathway.
Yeah,
right?
it's a pathway to it. So when you go home, you just recall it. It's like it's there for you. It's not like, oh, I went to Peru and that happened to be there. Yeah, technically that's what happened, but it didn't stay there. The point is to help you to bring it back home and live your life.
And hold
with this connection.
Hold that beauty in your eye too. You start to see the magic and beauty of nature and have that childlike curiosity again.
Exactly, that's what Huachuma does. It awakens the inner child that is full of wonder. That when you are 3 and 5, you know.
Exactly.
So you look at the world with sense of wonder, and that's what the magic is. I remember the time in my life, you know, riding on the rain and just being happy and just loving life. That never went away. I always cherished that. I always knew that this is important. And that's what has to be kept through the life. You know, and that's what I'm now teaching my children. Very important.
Have your children drank medicine with you?
Not yet, they're too small, but Mia, when she was 8, I introduced her on her birthday, but not drinking, just connection. But now she's going to be 13 and she's already like, yeah, Papi, when are we going to drink? So I'm like, I'm still waiting. I think this year we can do like a microdose and connect.
Yeah.
Like she's getting ready. And these are medicine children, we can see them on the medicine.
Yeah.
It's already in them. So I'm waiting for the right time when she's mature enough. Alexa, she's too young now. She's still like 6. But she's already helping us in ceremonies, like since like 2 years. She's like 4, she already smudging people with sage.
I didn't know what to expect. Like,
giving hugs.
We're doing closing ceremony in Maloka, and she's rolling around, smudging everybody, bringing us flowers. She came first and gave everyone a beautiful hug. And I was like, what a great aspect to a closing ceremony.
Just a second. I'm sorry, I'm doing interview with Dan now. We'll talk later. Yes, I received products, everything is good. Talk later. So, you know, just a second, me, I need to go to basketball. Let me give her some money to take a moto, because it's raining. So I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah.
Just give me a minute here, okay? Yeah, so good. Wow. Good rain outside, good for our plants, good for everyone. So yeah, so we're children waiting until they're ready to introduce them to the medicine. Of course, very gentle microdosing way,
Yeah.
you know. So, but later as they grow, they can experience more. And it's important to establish this connection with spirit in a proper way, you know, kind of to open those doors for them, and if they want to pursue it in life, it's open for them. If not, that's okay too. You know, I'll respect their will and their choices. You know, so what else should we talk about? It's early interviews, right? It's hard. It's like, you know, usually we do it later in the day. But since you have to leave, you know, we did early also with James the other day.
Yeah.
You did meet him. He just left.
I sat with him Wednesday.
Oh,
What was his last
that's
name?
the addict of all addicts.
Yeah, I know. We talked about
He
it.
started smoking before birth.
He felt my energy, like he hadn't had the urge to smoke for a long time until I walked through the fucking gate.
And he just picked it up. It's like his mother was smoking when she was pregnant with him. So all that, and he was breathing mother's smoke with the air. You know what I mean? It was like smoke was his air. So it's a serious stuff. That's why it's very bad for a pregnant woman to do this thing, because that's what you feed your child, and that's what you're passing to it, whether it's alcohol or any substances.
The
You know,
energy.
energy goes into you, and that's what you're born with, and then you will have craving for that. You know, so that's why people just don't understand really this.
Like you say the same with sugar and caffeine stuff too. right?
Probably.
Yeah.
Problem, because that's what you feed the child, so you're already feeding that addiction
Yeah.
before they're born. It's not fair.
Not a good.
Like you're born already addicted. You know what I mean? It's like, man, it's not his fault or her. You know what I mean? It's like you're born innocent, and now you have already like you come here already with a bag of problems to begin with. You know, before you even reach an age of memory and consciousness. You know, you're already an addict. You know, so that's where it goes. It goes to the parents. You want your children to be healthy, you need to think about this before they're born. You know, because that's what you give them.
Well, a big thing that I was like, I need to clean this up pronto was about 2 weeks ago. I was going to give my daughter a hug, and she was like, "Yuck, Dad, you smell like smoke."
Not nice.
No, man.
Not nice. I mean,
No.
think about it. It's like,
And she's 12. She knows what I'm doing. Like,
it's a trauma. It's a micro trauma. It's like you don't see it that way, but it is. It's a micro trauma. It's not a huge thing. People do worse things to their kids, but why would you even give them micro trauma if you love them?
right?
Give them love instead. You know?
And then I just think about all the time that I would take that 10 minutes to go have a cigarette or whatever. Or maybe it's an hour where I sit and have 3 cigarettes. And I'm not spending time inside with the family.
Yeah.
I'm
Smoking time with
outside.
your cigarette.
I'm outside with my cigarette.
Killing yourself
Yeah.
instead of being with people who love you and who you love. You know, many people quit here smoking, which is normal. People come, and it's not something even I do. I mean, I'm helping them in a way, but it's not something I'm imposing. I'm not imposing anything. Do what you want. You know what I mean? You're here. Here's the medicine. Figure yourself out.
Yeah, I really appreciate that style.
You know, it's like I'm here to support you, to guide you, share with you my expertise and my experience. But it's up to you what you want to do with it. You know what I mean? You want to go back to your bad habits? It's your life.
I think you have to be very careful of picking a practitioner to work with plant medicine in that space. Because ego gets involved a lot for people. And it starts to be...
They make it about themselves.
Yeah.
That's why it's important to remove yourself from medicine.
That's why when you were like...
So you're there as a support, but you're not interfering with people's experience unless you check on them and kind of guiding them.
Yeah.
They need you.
That's
know,
what I was
that's it. It's like,
super happy when you were like,
You
cross the
love-
river and come back in 5.5 hours.
that's it. Unless you need
But you were like, yeah, I'll check in on you and wave, just give me a thumbs up. And
Good morning, Doc. We're doing interview here, so...
Where's Pursuit?
I'm
left
like,
yet?
no, he's still here.
I think he's still in his room.
Yeah,
Give
he's
him a
still
hug.
sleeping.
Oh, he's still sleeping.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to sleep then.
Go sleep. He said she wants to
Sugar
take
on me.
medicine and go by himself, so just relax.
I'm gonna go back to
Yeah, we're doing interview here. Good morning.
Wait, did I interrupt
4.
really quick?
Oh yeah, to do things? Yeah, sure, in the kitchen. Yeah. We'll say goodbye to you later.
Yeah, we're
Yeah?
doing at 11:30.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
just
fine.
wanna
Yeah,
pay
that's...
you, just let me know.
No problem, no problem. We'll finish like in half an hour and then we'll chat. So what we were talking about?
Oh, we were talking about like, sometimes ego
holding
gets
space.
involved.
Yeah. That's very important. That's very important, and that's very annoying too.
Mhm.
Like, I would personally be very annoyed if I would have someone interfering with my experience with the medicine.
Oh,
I would be like, I would just run away. I would just like walk away, you know.
I was in one San Pedro ceremony, and the shaman had a recent like coming to God moment, and he starts getting really dogmatic about it, about the Jesus Christ path, the white guy with a gray beard. That doesn't
Like in ceremony.
in ceremony, in the medicine, as it's peaking, and then starts talking about how meditation and yoga and Tai Chi is all black magic, and the only way is through
Who
Jesus
is that
Christ
guy?
as Savior.
Who is it?
He's a guy I worked with.
Is Westerner?
He was a Westerner outside of Iquitos that worked with a long lineage of family, a long shamanic lineage of. There was the grandfather, the son, and the grandson.
But he's a Westerner.
But
who
he
lives
was the
there.
Westerner, and the three natives that had a lineage of like 400 years, they would do the ayahuasca, and then the Westerner would do the San Pedro or Huachuma.
I'm giving you this Jesus though.
It only happened on like my second or third time there. But it was my last time there, because it was really a put off. You know, it was like even if I was to have a calling to this guy with a white beard, like I'd want to find it on my own path.
Oh, your own, of course.
Not-
That's what you discover.
Yeah.
It's not what you're being imposed by someone, and that would be extremely annoying.
Yeah, no, that was the last ceremony I ever did there.
You know, and it's not against Jesus. I'm not against Jesus. I'm against the way it's done. Even if you come to you and say Buddha is the right way, it's like get out of here, man. I'm in the middle of my connection with divine. I mean, I don't want to see you or hear you. You know what I mean? Unless if I need help, I'll come. You know what I mean? It's not like Jesus or Buddha. It's like anything.
Yeah, I
It's
think,
like this is imposing on people.
and any form
You know?
of religion or spirituality, I think, has really been designed and over time as a mechanism of control. It's not liberation. It's not really
Unless you
connecting
find
to
your
source.
connection with them through the medicine in silence yourself, then it's valid. It's like your connection with
It's
Christ,
your path, yeah.
wonderful. Your connection with Buddha, wonderful. Your connection with whatever, but you have discovered that it's real for you. You have your channel. It's not somebody coming and impose on you and it's like believe that.
This is the way,
It's like man, this is cold.
and this is the only way.
Yeah, this is cultish.
That's the problem I have. Like, this is the only way.
It's like in the peak of summer. Can you imagine I'm coming to? This is just ridiculous. You know?
Yeah.
You know, if I come, it would be like just checking on you if you're alright, if you need me there, if you need any guidance. If you're good, it's like I'm not bothering you. Just sit with yourself, sit with the medicine, and figure your life. That's why we're here, to figure ourselves, to understand ourselves, and find the answers within. That's my style. That's my model. You know.
And one of the beautiful things about this place, I've come to realize, is that you have individuals that come here for long periods of time. 4
People
months,
live with us.
8 months, 12 months, 14 months,
People live
16
with us.
months.
I have to kick them out.
Drinking medicine 3 times a week
Yeah.
for years on end. But
You want to stay
It's-
long? You stay long.
for the folks that have stayed here that long I've spoke with, it's saved their lives in so many ways. And now they're on the
Saved
path.
and changed.
Now they're on the path of about to go save other
Yeah,
people.
exactly. That's what
And
happens.
help them.
It's transpersonal. That's
It's
why.
healing the world.
Yes.
But but yesterday, when the medicine, I had that massive release. I was meditative, eyes closed, everything was inwards. I got that serpent out, and I just finally sat up and opened my eyes, and the medicine was stronger than I've ever had before. You know, you can get clouds moving and mountains moving and trees moving and the ground moving, but this time it was like the space between. It was like the air was moving as well. Like it was the whole universe, and I just had this release, and there was pain from it. I had pain most of the day right in the center of my chest, and again, I'm trained as a Western healthcare nurse too. You know, that's supposed to be your first sign, especially at my age, to like go to the emergency and get your EKG and make sure you're not having a heart attack, you know. But I knew I was in the medicine. I've been in space like this before, and I knew to kind of surrender and trust the process and not to check my pulse and kind of go down.
Well, that's how you get anxiety.
I didn't want to go down the Western healthcare path.
Anxiety attack. That's what happened to my lady.
Yeah.
He just got into this anxiety mode.
Yeah, he's also a worker in a hospital, so it's easy to do when you have that training.
I had to talk to him like for a while to calm him down, you know.
But the medicine was so strong, and then when I opened my eyes, the river had rose drastically. And I was standing at what used to be this like kind of little waterfall, just now like a raging waterfall. And before, when I crossed, it was clear and it was milky brown.
That's why I told Nadine not to cross the river in the morning, because I knew that would happen. With you, I was trusting you more.
Yeah.
I was here, I was like, no, I will take you away. This is not safe.
The medicine was strong.
She was arguing with me. I don't like this. I want to go. It's like, don't go. It's dangerous.
And
And then she's like, oh yeah, I know what you mean.
No.
It was so brown and like kind of scary. Like, whoa, how do I cross it now?
Fear hit me. And I don't really deal with that much fear. And I felt really alone. And I was like, man, should I call for help? Should I cross that river? I don't know if I can cross that river. My heart's kind of hurting. It was just kind of the start of like a little panic. I sat down. I did a little bit of breath work. Found my center again. But I really felt the need just to connect with somebody real quick. Just a little connection, just to make me feel a little bit of the safety, a little bit of nurturing. And I went and found a student of yours that's been here for 14 months.
Yeah, I see it right there.
Yeah.
And I feel like, okay, he will take care of me.
He was so amazing, just very approachable and nurturing. And that's kind of something I missed in my childhood from both of my parents. And it was, I don't know how to phrase it. It was just beautiful example of how to be a father figure for other people that need it, but especially my children.
Of course. That's how you heal your lack of this kindness and love from your father. So you can't really fix your past, so it happened, you know, but you can fix it by giving your kids what you didn't have.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you heal the family line.
Mm-hmm.
So becoming a better father for them heals your childhood trauma.
Mm-hmm.
There's no other way.
It was beautiful, and you know, he didn't try or pull anything out of me. He was just like, how are you feeling? And I was having a hard time formulating sentences. The medicine was so strong, and I just get out a couple words, and you
Yeah, I was watching it.
Sense it, and I just felt like this giant eagle just kind of putting his wings around me and holding me safe.
You are safe with this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then
let people sit with themselves, you know, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
You get support when you need it. When you really need it, I'm there for you.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of time you think you need it, but you can push the limits a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You can find your strength, and that's the point. Really, I want you to find your strength here.
Yeah, he showed
If you
me.
hold people's hands all the time, you don't help them really. You help them through the day,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not helping them through the life.
Right. You're not always going to be there.
Exactly. So I rather not to help you through the day, unless of course it's needed, like really, but help you through the life. I want you to find your strength. Good morning. Go ahead. Yeah, take care. Go. Kitchen. Yeah, we still do. It's okay. It's okay. Do your thing. No problem.
Just don't cross the river.
Don't cross the river when Sergey say not to cross. We just was talking about, you know.
I was eyeing up her spot across the river, and she looked at me. She's like, "No, I'm going."
And then it's like, ooh,
I
that's
was like,
scary.
all right.
Yeah, I know how it
No
works.
worries.
Yeah, it's like it was one guy from Canada, you know, here recently. He was a captain in the army, like huge ego guy, you know, like big muscle guy, you know. So same thing. We came to the river, and I know my riverman. It's like I'm going there 14 years, you know, 3 times a week, and before it was 4 times a week for like 10 years. Then I start taking weekends off. I just have 3 ceremonies a week, you know. So and the river were like quiet in the morning, but I know how this because the rain goes there. You don't see the rain here. It's farther in the mountains, and then it's like, you know. So he's like, it's a nice place there, can I cross? And I said, no, better no. It's dangerous because it will change later and it will be hard to cross back. Like, okay, but he disregarded what I said and he still crossed. And then he almost died there. Crossing back, he came all bruised up.
Took slip and...
I'm like, man, I told you not to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I thought I can't. So he thought he knew better. His ego took him there and almost killed him. The river just smashed him on the rocks and he was bruised over. He came here, like laying down. My wife had to take care of his like bruises over his body, like scratches, blood, you know. I'm like, man, I told you not to do it. Yeah, I learned my lessons. Like, man, you could die there.
I mean, I've spent a lot of time in nature, a lot of time doing some hairy shit in nature on different medicines as well.
It's underestimating the force of nature and overestimating your own.
I actually got advice from your student who had been here for 14 months. I was like, you've been here for 14 months, where is the best place to cross a river right now? And he walked me to the cliff bank, and he was like, yeah, just right through here. And it wasn't too bad to navigate, but without that advice...
Well, you don't know. You think you think that you can do more than you actually can, and really it's powerful. It's coming with much more force and with rocks. You know what I mean? It's like it's a raging river. When it's raining up there, it's like brown. It's like scary looking river. It's not calm like you see in the morning. So it's kind of in the morning it's easy. Yeah, that's easy. Yeah, it is. But when you cross back and you're on the peak of the medicine. That's not going to be the same easy crossing. You know what I mean? So that's why I said, like, don't do it. But then she listened to me.
Yeah, she did.
She trusted me.
That's good.
And now she's having her coffee.
Yeah, bruise-free.
Bruise-free, having her breakfast. Yeah. Safe and sound.
Safe and sound.
Yeah, exactly. Sounds good. Well, I need to go now. Was it 10, 15? Yeah. Okay, we can do another 3 minutes for closing maybe. What would you like to share with people out of your brief but very powerful experience here? Like the way we do medicine, the way your experience with us. Like what would you like to share with people who would like to come and maybe would have fear, maybe would be afraid of the medicine, of the mountains, of going to Peru, you know? Like what would you share with them?
I don't know. I've done plant medicine all over Central and South America, and the leadership and guidance here is superior to any other place I've been before. I mean, I've been to places with full-on medical staff before, and it's kind of like a false sense of safety.
Yeah.
Right?
They can't do anything.
No. And it actually creates more issues for people.
It's like,
I'm having chest pain, I'm feeling short of breath, like I need an EKG.
I need a hospitalization.
I've talked to people like, like demanding IVs, like to get fluid replacement in the middle of ceremony.
Is that IV of what?
Just saline or electrolytes or whatever. I've never seen them actually get a bag in ceremony, but just because they know the resource is there, just begging for it.
It's very Western.
Where here, you're kind of supported as an individual, but in a collective group. There's always safety, the sense of family here, and I think it's a big part of your kind of long time and returning students is unlike anywhere I've felt before. So not only are you kind of the maestro, but you have all these other maestros in training that are accessible almost always. And it also helps you as you work through the medicine more to learn how to be more of a support and assist when it's needed for the group. Because as you're in the space more, you absorb the energy of everyone that you're sitting with. Like yesterday was a pretty heavy day, it felt like, for a lot of people.
Wow, it was strong medicine.
Yeah.
Strong medicine. It was full moon, and then the UFO shows at night.
Oh, wow, that was such a treat.
Just crazy, man. That was the most amazing UFO shows I ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, it made my neck hurt.
Well, I went down on the ground right away.
Yeah, that was smart.
But even before that,
smart.
the moon coming up over the horizon, how it had that white line going through the whole mountain range.
It's pure
And
magic.
the mountain-
Cosmic magic.
And then like 2 minutes after the full view of the moon had come up is when this whole ET show had lit up the skylines, and
It's just crazy.
I don't
Yes,
know.
it was.
I had some
I was
experiences
like-
in that space, and so I was trying to share with the group. And then I eventually got on the ground, and I was holding my hand on my heart and kind of announcing who I was and calling them in. And your animals felt it. I had a cat come up and lay right on my crotch. Your dog came up and started licking my forehead as I was just opening my heart and filling it with love and trying to call in these more experiences. And
Crazy. So, anything for closing, man? I got to go.
just much love and gratitude for your processes, your medicine, the community you've created here. I don't think anybody out there that is been called to do the medicine or thinking about coming to do the medicine, you should not have any fear about anything. You're in great hands, and it's a beautiful experience. It'll only make you a better person. And yeah, man, just much love from the bottom of my heart. Especially, I know that I was kind of an unorthodox inductee, and so like the trust you gave me to come and sit with y'all. This is
On the short notice.
This is exactly what I came here for, exactly what I needed, and exactly what I was trusting the universe to provide. And I just thank you for being in tune with that as well, and allowing me in.
All right. Well, you have a good heart, good father, good husband. I respect that.
Thank
You
you.
know, well, all the best, bro.
Yeah, man.
You know,
Thank you,
come
sir.
whenever you want. We're here.
I'll be back for
I'm
sure.
here until my last breath. So
Yeah.
hopefully, it's not going to be anytime soon, but we are here
Yeah.
to serve good medicine for good hearts.
I believe you now on full power.